Okay, so in the last lecture, we have seen about these two theorems. One is the Nyquist theorem and second one is the Shannon capacity. Nyquist theorem is used for the noiseless channel and the formula is 2b log L base 2. Okay, and that is used mainly for the noiseless channel. For the noisy channel, we have the Shannon capacity that is not dependent on the number of levels, but that is dependent on the signal to noise ratio, that is the SNR. And the formula is B log 1 plus SNR base 2. Okay. So in the real time, we are using the both things, that the combination of Nyquist capacity plus Shannon theorem. Okay, that the first one, that is the Shannon capacity, is used to find out the capacity of the channel, and to finding the capacity using that in the Shannon capacity in the Nyquist theorem, we can find out the number of levels. Okay. Then we have started with the transmission modes. Okay, so transmission modes are important when we are sending the data from sender to the receiver through the wires. Okay, so when we are sending the data from sender to the receiver through the wires, we need to consider the one important criteria, that is the data rate. Okay, data rate indicate that how, in which form we are sending the data. That if you are sending the one bit at a time, or if you are sending that multiple bit at a time, so that is indicated by the transmission modes. So it can be either serial or parallel. In the serial mode, in each clock tick, that at a time we are sending only the one bit, while in case of the parallel mode, we are sending the multiple bit at a time. Okay, so the parallel transmission can be again classified as asynchronous, synchronous, and isosynchronous. So this is all about the parallel transmission, that the wires between the sender and receiver consist of the n different wires. Okay, the link consists of the n different wires, and on each link we are sending the one bit. So that is known as the parallel transmission. While the disadvantage of this parallel transmission is the, let's say, we can say that the communication lines, or we can say that the cost. Okay? The cost of installation, the cost of installation, that if we are sending the 8 bit at a time, we need to install the n different wires. Okay? So the cost will be higher in case of the parallel transmission, but the advantage is higher data rate. Okay, so in case of the serial, if we are sending only one bit at a time, but in case of the parallel, we can send the 8 bit at a time. In case of the serial transmission, we are sending only one bit at a time. Okay, so here we can say that we require the converter that is convert from parallel to serial, and we require the converter that convert from serial to parallel. The reason is inside the communication devices, like inside the computer or laptop or in any communication devices, we are following the parallel transmission. So when that data is going from this outside network, we require the converter at the sending side, that is parallel to serial converter, and at the receiving side we require the converter that is serial to parallel converter. Okay, but here we are sending that one bit at a time, that only one clock tick. Okay, we are sending only the one bit. That is all about the serial transmission. The advantage is low cost, that we require the cost of only one single line through which we can send the every bit from sender to the receiver. But the disadvantage is the bit rate, that in case of the parallel we are sending the 8 bit at a time, but here we are able to send only the one bit. Okay. So the serial transmission can be asynchronous, synchronous, and isosynchronous. We have seen the asynchronous transmission, in which it is saying that the timing of a signal is unimportant. Okay, so that means in case of the asynchronous transmission, we are sending the data in form of the byte. Okay, so at a time only one byte is sent from the sender to the receiver, and to that, as the timing is not important, we require the indication that at which bit the frame is, at which bit the byte is starting, and at which bit the byte is ending. So for that we require the start bit and end bit. So 0 indicate the start bit and 1 indicate the stop bit. So this can be the transmission that is asynchronous, in which we have the 0 for start bit, 1 as a stop bit, and the character is embedded in this byte. Okay, so here we can send the 1 by 1 character at a time, and 0 indicate the start and 1 indicate the stop. So it may possible that there can be the gap between the two different data units. Okay, we have seen that this example is the like the communication between the keyboard and your CPU. Okay, if I am the slow typing, okay, if I am slow in the typing, then let's say I have typed the A, then after some time I am typing the B. Okay, so this can be, there can be gap between the two transmission. Okay, while in case of the, let's say there is some fast typing, okay, then there is slow, we can say there is a less gap between the two characters. Okay, so the gaps are unimportant. Okay, it may be 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, like that. Okay, so this is known as the asynchronous transmission. Then we have seen the synchronous transmission. So in case of the synchronous transmission, the bit streams are combined into longer frames. Okay. In case of the asynchronous, we have the bytes. In case of the synchronous, the multiple bytes are combined to create a frame. And in case of the synchronous, the timing is very much important. That means when the timer starts at the sending side, the sender starts to send the data one after the another without worrying that this is the start bit or stop bit. Okay, it is the responsibility of the receiver to group the bits into bytes for decoding purpose. Okay, let's say if you have decided that the frame size is 1000 bytes. Okay, so once the clock start at the sending side, the sender starts to send the 1000 bytes. Okay, whenever the 1000 bytes are sent, and then it will stop. Same thing is about at the receiving side. Receiver will start the accepting bytes, we start the accepting the bits. When the 1000 bits are collected, then and then the receiver will be stopped. Okay? So timing is very much important. So this is known as the synchronous transmission. The synchronous transmission, the frame consists of multiple bytes, or it may possible that there can be gap between the two frames, but there should not be any, we can say, delay between the bits inside the frame. Whenever your transmission start, this, let's say if you indicate that this is a frame with 32 bits. Okay, so there should not be any timing gap between these 32 bits. Okay, it should be sent from sender to the receiver without any delay, but it may possible that there can be gap between the one frame and another frame. Okay, so we can indicate this thing at synchronize at the frame level, but synchronize inside the frame, or we can say synchronize at the byte level, but the asynchronize at the frame level, like that. Okay, so it is used for high-speed applications such as the transmission of data from one computer to another computer. At that time, the timing is very much important, so we are following the synchronous transmission. And for that, we have seen that we require this byte synchronization, and that is the responsibility of the data link layer. That again we will see at that time. So here we can compare this synchronous transmission and asynchronous transmission. In case of the synchronous transmission, data is transferred in the form of frames, while in case of the asynchronous, data is transmitted in form of the byte. In case of the asynchronous, the clock signal, or we can say the timing, is not important. That the sender and receiver does not require a clock signal, as the data sent here has a parity bit, that is 0 as a start bit and 1 as a stop bit. While in case of the synchronous, we require a clock signal between the sender and the receiver so as to inform the receiver about the new byte. In case of the synchronous, data transfer rate is high, while in case of the asynchronous, data transfer rate is slow. Okay. The synchronous is complex and expensive, while the asynchronous is simple and economic. Okay. The reason is, for the asynchronous, we don't need to worry about the start and stop bit. So the complexity of indicating the extra bit that is useful in the synchronous, that is needed in the asynchronous, is not needed in the synchronous transmission. Okay. So the synchronous transmission is complex and expensive that we need to worry about this timing, while the asynchronous is simple and economic. Synchronous is efficient and has lower overhead. As I have said that there is no need of start and stop it, so it will give you the lower overhead. While in case of the asynchronous, we require the start and stop bit that has the extra burden of adding the start and stop bit. So that has the higher overhead. Okay. Third category is isosynchronous transmission. So there are some applications in which we can't use the synchronous or asynchronous. For example, let's say in the real time, like for example, like on the STTV, if you are viewing something, okay, on જ્યારે આપણે STTV પર કંઈ જોતા હોય, at that time we don't tolerate any delay. Okay. For example, let's say કે આપણું ટીવી પર એકવાર આખું સ્કેન થઈને આખું ઇમેજ આવી ગઈ આપણી, ઓકે, એના પછી થોડા ટાઈમ પછી બીજી ઇમેજ આવે. ઓકે. So such type of delays are not tolerable for such type of application like the STTV, or suppose આપણે YouTube પર કઈ લાઈવ સ્ટ્રીમિંગ જોતા હોય, for example જ્યારે આપણે video communication કરતા હોય, in such all type of application the delays are not tolerable. Okay? So for such type of communication we are following the isosynchronous transmission. So what happen in such cases that we can say we are creating image that is sent by using one or more frames, and there should not be any delay between the two frames. Okay. So in case of that, we are creating the large frame that is consist of we can say each pixel consists of the 8 bits. So let's say if your HTTV is consist of 1000 pixels, okay, so 1000 cross each pixel consists of 24 bits, so 24,000 bits. Okay. So એક સાથે જ્યારે 24,000 bits ના આવી જાય ત્યાં સુધી matlab it is creating a frame of 24,000 bits. Okay. So the frame size is very much larger in case of the isosynchronous compared to the synchronous. Okay. So in such cases the entire stream of bits must be synchronized. Okay. જે આખા 24,000 bits છે એમાં કંઈ પણ ડિલે નહીં આવવો જોઈએ, નહીં તો પછી ટીવી પર એવું થાય કે થોડુંક આપણું કોર્નરમાં દેખાય ને આ સાઈડ ના દેખાય ને ઘણીવાર એવો ટીવીમાં પ્રોબ્લેમ થાય, that is to the delay between the we can say inside the frames. જે ફ્રેમની અંદર કોઈ વાર બ્લેક આપણા ટી સ્ક્રીન પર કોઈ વાર બ્લેક સ્પોટ આવી જાય કે પછી, so that is the problem due to the delay inside the frames. જે તમારું 24,000 bits એક સાથે આવવા જોઈએ એની જગ્યાએ if there is some delay in that bits, we can say that that is appearing as a black dot on your screen. Okay. So in such type of application we are using the isosynchronous transmission in which the frame size is very much larger, that is more than the 24,000 bits. Okay. So this is all about the transmission modes. Transmission modes can be either serial or parallel. In parallel, there are no subclasses. In case of the serial, we have the asynchronous, synchronous, and isosynchronous. In case of the parallel, we are sending the multiple bits at a time. In case of the serial, we are sending only one bit at a time. We have the asynchronous, synchronous, and isosynchronous for the serial transmission. In case of the asynchronous, we are sending the one bit at a time. We are using 0 as the start bit, 1 as the stop bit. In case of the synchronous transmission, we are using the frames. Okay. In case of the asynchronous transmission, we are not worried about the timing. We are not worried about the clock signal. While in case of the synchronous, we are worried about the clock signal. That we see timing is very much important. In some cases, if the frame size is very much large, then we are following the isosynchronous transmission. For example, let's say our TV communication, or let's say video conferencing, like that. The next topic is multiplexing. So the need of multiplexing is whenever the bandwidth of a medium linking the two devices is greater than the device, greater than the bandwidth needs of the device, the link can be set. Okay. The idea is જે link or જે medium આપણે use કરતા છે એની capacity or we can say any bandwidth જો બંને device ની જે જરૂરિયાત છે એના કરતા વધારે હોય, then we can set the link. Okay. For example, let's say if you have assigned the bandwidth called let's say we take this example later. Okay, the thing is the multiplexing, whenever the available bandwidth of a link is greater than the individual need of the sender and the receiver, we can set the link. Okay, so multiplexing, for example, like આપણે કોઈ જગ્યાએ જવું હોય તો આપણને એક લેટ્સ સે હાઈવે રોડ છે. ઓકે, તો હાઈવે રોડમાં કેવું છે, એક બાજુ જવા માટેની લેન હોય અને બીજી બાજુ આવવા માટેની લેન હોય. ઓકે, તો લાઈક ધેટ. ઓકે, જ્યારે એવા રોડની સાઇઝ મોટી છે, સો જે એક કરતા વધારે યુઝર એને યુઝ કરી શકે, તો આપણે એ ટાઈમે શું કરી શકીએ, તો એ જે રોડ છે એને બે પાર્ટમાં ડિવાઈડ કરી દઈએ. એકમાં ખાલી જવા વાળા જોઈએ અને બીજામાં ખાલી આવવા વાળા જોઈએ. ઓકે, તો ધીસ ઇઝ નોન એઝ ધી મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સિંગ. ઓકે, જે રોડની કેપેસિટી છે તે ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલી નીડ કરતા વધારે છે. So that's why we have divided the road into the multiple single roads. Okay, one is for go and one is for come.
ના ચાલે.
કોણ છે? મ્યુટ કરી દો. So multiplexing is a set of techniques that allows the simultaneous transmission of multiple signals across a single data link. એક જ લિંક પર એક જ ટાઈમે એક સાથે આપણે ઘણા બધા સિગ્નલ મોકલી શકીએ. તો ધેટ ઇઝ ધી એડવાન્ટેજ ઓફ મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સિંગ. ઓકે, નહીં તો પછી પ્રોબ્લેમ શું થાય કે સપોઝ એક સાથે 10 જણા કોમ્યુનિકેટ કરતા હોય તો પછી આપણે બધા વચ્ચે એક એક લિંક ક્રિએટ કરવા પડે. ઓકે, સો એ ના કરવું હોય, then we have the technique called multiplexing. તેમાં શું થાય કે બધા યુઝરનો ડેટા એક સાથે કમ્બાઈન થઈ જાય અને પછી સિંગલ લિંક પર આપણો ટ્રાન્સમિટ થાય. ધેટ ઇઝ નોન એઝ ધી મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સિંગ. તો આપણે જ્યારે ટેલિફોન પર, ઓકે, આપણે જ્યારે આપણા ફ્રેન્ડ સાથે વાત કરતા હોય, એટ ધી સેમ ટાઈમ ધી અનધર મોબાઈલ યુઝર્સ આર ઓલ્સો યુઝિંગ ધેર સેલ ફોન્સ. ઓકે, તો ધેટ મીન્સ આપણું જે સિંગલ ચેનલ છે, ઓકે, આપણું જે એર ઇઝ વર્કિંગ એઝ અ મીડિયમ, તો એ મીડિયમમાં એક સાથે આપણા ઘણા બધા સિગ્નલ છે. ઓકે, એક સિગ્નલ છે તમારું તમારા ફ્રેન્ડ વચ્ચેનું પણ છે, બીજું કંઈ કોઈ બીજા બે જણા વાત કરતા છે એની વચ્ચેનું પણ છે. ઓકે, સો ધીસ થિંગ શુડ બી સેપરેટ એટ ધી રિસીવિંગ સાઇડ. રિસીવિંગ સાઇડ જ્યારે આપણે કેપ્ચર કરીએ, એટ ધેટ ટાઈમ વી રિક્વાયર ધેટ જે આપણા ફ્રેન્ડે મોકલેલું છે તે જ આપણને સંભળાવવું જોઈએ. સો વી રિક્વાયર સમ ટાઈપ ઓફ ફિલ્ટર એટ ધી રિસીવિંગ સાઇડ. ઓકે, સો ધીસ નોન એઝ ધી મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સિંગ, કે જે આપણી એક જ લિંક છે તેમાં એક સાથે ઘણા બધા યુઝરનો ડેટા શેર થયો હોય. So dividing a link into channels. So here we can say that we have only one link and n channels. So the link indicate that the physical path or the medium through which we are sending our the data, and that physical path or medium is divided into the various channels. Okay, so each channel can be used by the different users. Okay, so here the link is divided into the channels and each channel can be used by the different users. And to combine the data from the various users, we require the multiplexers. Okay, so using this multiplexer we can combine the data from the multiple users. That we can say combined data is sent through one link from sender to the receiver. Okay, and at the receiving side again we have the demultiplexer that will separate the data based on that the different users. So we can have various techniques. Okay, we'll that see that multiplexing can be either frequency division multiplexing, that is FDM. It can be WDM, that is the wavelength division multiplexing, or TDM, that is the time division multiplexing. Here the thing is the FDM and WDM, that is majorly used for the analog signals, while the TDM is used for the digital signals. Okay, so first we will see the FDM. So it has, I have said that it is an analog technique. This FDM is majorly used for the analog signal, that can be applied when the bandwidth of a link is greater than the combined bandwidth of the signal to be transmitted. Okay, suppose there are three users. Okay, one requires the 1 kilohertz. Okay, second requires the 2 kilohertz, third requires the 3 kilohertz. Okay, so if the available bandwidth is more than the 3 kilohertz, okay, then we can use the FDM. Okay, in which we can divide our link based on the frequencies. The link is divided into various channels where each channel have a different bandwidth, or you can say the different frequency range. So a link is divided based on the various frequencies, okay, and that each frequency is assigned to the different channels. Okay? So link is divided into the various channels, and each channel have its own frequency range. Okay? There can be a problem that if the link is divided into channel, it may possible that this frequency can overlap with each other. Okay? That channels can overlap with each other. So to separate that channel, we have the concept of guard band. Okay? So we are using one frequency range that is used to separate the one channel from the another channel and to prevent signals from overlapping. Okay? So the idea of FDM is we can divide the link into the various channels, and each channel have its own frequency range. And to separate the two different channels from overlapping, we are using the guard band. The guard band is also a frequency range that are used to separate the one channel with the another channel, and is also used to prevent the signal from overlapping. Okay? So here the idea of FDM is there, in which the link is divided into various channels, and we have the different frequency range. Okay, we have this blue and yellow and this pink. Okay, so we have the three different frequency range. We'll take one example. So here we have the multiplexer and demultiplexer. What is the need of this multiplexer is the multiplexer is used to combine the data from the multiple lines, and at the receiving side it is used to separate the data into the various users. So FDM is an analog multiplexing technique that can combine the analog signals. So how this multiplexing is going to be performed? Okay, so we need to remember some prior concept, that is the carrier signals and modulating signal. Okay, you have learned this thing I think in the physics. 11-12 physics માં આવ્યું હશે. Okay, and also you have learned I think in your subject, okay, digital electronics. So એમાં પણ we have seen that we have the carrier frequency and modulating frequency. Okay, so when these both are combined, carrier frequency and modulating frequency, we have the modulated signals. Okay, and these modulated signals are combined, and it is creating this single composite signal that consists of the multiple analog signal, and that is transmitted through the channels. So here we can see that we have the baseband analog signal with the similar frequency range. Okay? The frequency range are same for each baseband signal. It is also known as the modulating signal. Okay, so here we can combining the data from three different users. Okay, the પહેલા user માટે આ છે modulating signal. Okay, now each user, બધા user ને એક carrier frequency assign થાય. Okay, so here the carrier frequency for this first signal is this one. Okay, second one this one, and third one this one. Okay, now modulator નું કામ શું છે? તો એ combine કરે આ modulating signal અને carrier signal ને. Okay, એ બે combine થઈને આપણું modulated signal generate થાય. Okay, so this is our first modulated signal, second and third one. Now these three are combined to create a composite signal. ત્રણે combine થઈને આપણું composite signal generate થાય, and that is transmitted through the link or transmitted through the channel. At the receiving side we have the filter. At the receiving side we have the filter. Okay, so filter, let's say ત્રણે ફ્રીક્વન્સી આપણે ડિસાઈડ કરી કે એકની 10 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ છે, એકની 20 છે અને એકની 30 છે. તો આ ફિલ્ટર એવું છે કે આજે ખાલી 10 વાળાને જ પાસ કરે, બીજું 20 વાળાને પાસ કરે અને ત્રીજું 30 વાળાને પાસ કરે. ઓકે, તો આજે કમ્પોઝાઇટ સિગ્નલમાંથી આપણે ત્રણે છૂટા પાડી શકીએ. આમાંથી ખાલી 10 વાળું છૂટું પડે, આમાંથી 20 વાળું ને આમાંથી 30 વાળું. ઓકે, રેન્જ વાળું. ઓકે, સપોઝ 10 થી 20 વાળું આમાં આવે. ઓકે, 20 થી 30 વાળું આમાં આવે અને 30 થી 40 વાળા આમાં આવે. ઓકે, so after that it is applied to the demodulator. તો demodulator ફરી પાછું આ જે મોડ્યુલેટેડ સિગ્નલ છે એમાંથી કેરિયર ફ્રીક્વન્સી અને મોડ્યુલેટિંગ ફ્રીક્વન્સી એ બેને છૂટી પાડશે. એટલે ફાઇનલી આપણને આપણું બેઝબેન્ડ સિગ્નલ મળી જાય. સો this is the construction of the multiplexer and demultiplexer. Multiplexer will combine the various baseband analog signal to create a composite signal, and the demultiplexer will separate that composite signal into various baseband signals. So let's take one example, that a voice channel. Okay, for example, આપણે જે ટેલિફોન પર વાત કરીએ છીએ. Okay, so such type of voice channel occupies a bandwidth of 4 kilohertz. Okay, so we need to combine 3 voice channels. Okay, so suppose એક સાથે 3 જણા એકબીજા સાથે વાત કરવી છે. So that's why we are combining the 3 voice channels into a link with a bandwidth of 12 kilohertz. Okay, so link ની bandwidth કેટલી છે? તો 12 kilohertz from 20 to 30 kilohertz. Okay, so 20 to 30 kilohertz is 12 kilohertz ની જે bandwidth છે, લિંક છે, એમાં આપણે 3 યુઝરનો ડેટાને કમ્બાઈન કરવાનો છે. So the question is, show the configuration using the frequency domain. Assume there are no guard bands. Okay, so we know that the link bandwidth is 12 kilohertz, that is from 20 to 30 kilohertz. Okay, so you can divide into the 3 parts, like 20 to 24 kilohertz can be used by the user 1. Okay, that is our first channel. 24 to 28 kilohertz, that can be used by the second user, that is our second channel. And 28 to 32 can be used by the third user, that is our third channel. And then we will combine all 3. Okay, so here we can see the concept that 3 telephone users are there. They need to send 3 telephone user એક જ ટાઈમે જે બીજા 3 જેના ફ્રેન્ડ છે એની સાથે વાત કરવી છે. Okay, so what we can do is 3 frequency range same જ છે. Okay, પહેલા માટે પણ 4 hertz, second also 4 hertz, third also 4 hertz. Okay, we have in the multiplexer we have the modulator that can modulate the frequency like this 0 to 4. Okay, so we have the carrier frequency from 20 to 32. Okay, so we can combine this 20 to 24 with 0 to 4. Okay, so we have the frequency range from 20 to 24 for the first telephone user. Okay, then second carrier signal, that is 24 to 28, that is combined with this baseband signal. So we have the second one 24 to 28, and the third one, that is 28 to 32. This all 3 are combined. Okay, so combined means nothing but we can say in the single link we have the 3 different channels, in which 20 થી 24 સુધીમાં આપણું પહેલું સિગ્નલ છે, 24 થી 28 સુધીમાં બીજું અને 28 થી 32 સુધીમાં ત્રીજું. ઓકે, આ જે કમ્બાઇન્ડ સિગ્નલ છે, કમ્પોઝાઇટ સિગ્નલ છે, તે સેન્ડ થાય આપણું રિસીવરને. રિસીવર હેઝ ધી બેન્ડ પાસ ફિલ્ટર. તો આમાંથી રિસીવર શું કરવાનું કે 20 થી 24 સુધીની છે તો એટલી જ આમાંથી પાસ થઈ શકે. 20 થી 24 વાળું આમાંથી પાસ થઈને આપણું પહેલું સિગ્નલ જનરેટ થાય, 24 થી 28 વાળું બીજું સિગ્નલ અને 28 થી 32 વાળું ત્રીજું સિગ્નલ. Okay, so again it is separate to this 0 to 4, that is for the first baseband signal, 0 to 4 that is second, and 0 to 4 that is third one. Okay, so although there are 3 different users and all 3 wants to communicate at the same time, that is possible through the FDM. Okay, so let's take the another example, that we have the 5 channels, each with 100 kilohertz bandwidth, are to be multiplexed together. What is the minimum bandwidth of the link if there is a need of guard band of 10 kilohertz? Okay, in the previous one there is no need of the guard band, but here we require the guard band of 10 kilohertz between the channels to prevent the interference, or we can say overlapping. Okay, so the 5 channel છે, the 5 channel, for each channel the requirement is 100 kilohertz. Okay, so total 5 channel ની requirement है આપણી दी 500 kilohertz. Okay, plus we require suppose 5 channel છે, 1 2 3 4 અને 5. તો પહેલી અને બીજીની વચ્ચે એક ગાર્ડ બેન્ડ જોઈએ આપણને, બીજી અને ત્રીજી ચેનલની વચ્ચે એક ગાર્ડ બેન્ડ જોઈએ, ત્રીજી અને ચોથીની વચ્ચે જોઈએ, અને ચોથી અને પાંચમીની વચ્ચે જોઈએ. So we require the total 4 guard bands. Okay, and the range of this each and every guard band is 10 kilohertz. Okay, so pehla mate total we require the 40 kilohertz for the guard bands and the 500 kilohertz for the channel. So total requirement of the link is 540 kilohertz. Okay, so 540 kilohertz ની જો આપણે link હોય or bandwidth હોય, then we can combine the 5 channels and 5 channels with the guard band of 10 kilohertz. You can see here that these are the 5 channels. Okay, 100 kilohertz, 100, 100, 100 and 100. Okay, so okay, and we require the guard band of 10 kilohertz between the each and every channels. પહેલી અને બીજીની વચ્ચે, બીજી ત્રીજી, ત્રીજી અને ચોથીની વચ્ચે, અને ચોથી અને પાંચમીની વચ્ચે. So the total requirement of the link, is 540 kilohertz. Okay, the advanced mobile phone system, okay, જે cell phone પર આપણે જે વાત કરીએ છીએ, that are using the 2 band. તેમાં 2 band નો use થાય. Okay, so this thing will be useful for one more subject, that is the wireless network. Okay. So currently what we are doing is we are learning everything about this computer to computer communication, that is the wired communication. Okay, when these things are applied to the wireless communication like the cell phone communication, in which the concept are different. Okay, so the network that we are learning, that is only for this we can say the wired communication. જ્યારે આપણે computer થી computer નું communication કરતા હોય, તો તેના માટે જ આપણે જે કંઈ પણ આ જોયું તે બધું એના માટે જ એપ્લાય થાય, જે આપણા 5 લેયર છે TCP IP ના, કે પછી જે કંઈ પણ IP એડ્રેસિંગ છે કે બધું. ઓકે, જ્યારે આપણે વાયરલેસ કોમ્યુનિકેશન કરીએ તો એના માટે વી હેવ ધ ડિફરન્ટ સેટ ઓફ પ્રોટોકોલ્સ. જ્યારે મોબાઈલ ફોન, તેના માટે વી હેવ ધ ડિફરન્ટ સબ્જેક્ટ કોલ્ડ મોબાઈલ કોમ્પ્યુટિંગ ઓર ધ વાયરલેસ કોમ્યુનિકેશન, that you will learn in the next semester. Okay, so in this semester we are learning all about this computer to computer communication, or we can say that device to device communication, in which device include only this we can say the computer, laptop, mobile, router, so all the devices that are used in the network. So the question is, we have the AMPS, that is the cell phone, that is using the 2 bands. Okay. The first band is 824 to 849 megahertz. JMPS જે એડવાન્સ મોબાઈલ ફોન સિસ્ટમ છે, જે આપણી સેલ ફોન સિસ્ટમ છે, એમાં 2 બેન્ડનો યુઝ થાય. એક બેન્ડ આપણો સેન્ડિંગ માટે હોય, બીજો બેન્ડ આપણો રિસીવિંગ માટે હોય. ફર્સ્ટ બેન્ડની ફ્રીક્વન્સી રેન્જ છે આપણી 824 to 849, અને જે સેકન્ડ બેન્ડ છે રિસીવિંગનો, એની ફ્રીક્વન્સી રેન્જ છે આપણી 869 to 894. So you can say that 824 to 849, so 849 minus 824, that is 25. Okay, so 25 megahertz for sending and also the 25 megahertz for receiving. Okay. 25 megahertz આપણો sending માટે use થાય અને 25 megahertz આપણો receiving માટે use થાય. And each user has a bandwidth of 30 kilohertz in each direction. Okay, so particular એક જ બેન્ડમાં સપોઝ આપણે સેન્ડ કરવું છે કંઈ પણ, તો એના માટે પર્ટિક્યુલર યુઝરની રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ છે 30 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ. ઓકે, તો એક 1-to-1 કોમ્યુનિકેશન. ઓકે, આપણે આપણા મોબાઈલ ફોનથી કોઈ બીજા મોબાઈલ ફોન પર જ્યારે આપણે કનેક્ટ થઈએ, તો જે સેન્ડિંગનો જે સ્પેક્ટ્રમ છે, ઓકે, તમારા મોબાઈલ ફોન પરથી તમે કોઈ બીજાના મોબાઈલ ફોન પર કોલ લગાવો, ત્યારે જે સેન્ડિંગનો જે બેન્ડ છે એમાંથી 30 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ યુઝ થાય. સેમ વે જ્યારે રિસીવિંગનો, જ્યારે આપણા મોબાઈલ ફોન પર કંઈ રિસીવ થતું હોય ત્યારે સેમ વે 30 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ બીજો યુઝ થાય આપણું રિસીવિંગ માટે. So how many people can use their cellular phone simultaneously? તો જે આટલી આપણી રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ આપી છે, તો ક્વેશ્ચન ઇઝ એક સાથે કેટલા યુઝર એકબીજા સાથે કોમ્યુનિકેટ કરી શકે અને એકબીજા સાથે વાત કરી શકે. So we know that sending નો બેન્ડ છે, તો એની કેપેસિટી છે, એની બેન્ડવિડ્થ છે આપણી 25 મેગાહર્ટ્ઝ. ઓકે, સેમ વે જે રિસીવિંગ છે એની પણ છે 25 મેગાહર્ટ્ઝ. ઓકે, નાઉ એક જ બેન્ડમાં we are saying that એક યુઝર માટે રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ છે આપણી 30 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ. So we need to divide this 25 megahertz of sending by the 30 kilohertz of user. Okay, so we get the value, that is 833.33 33. Okay? So in reality, the band is divided into the 832 channels. Okay? So in reality, જે આપણો સેન્ડિંગ નો બેન્ડ છે તે આપણા કેટલી ચેનલમાં ડિવાઈડ થાય તો 832 ડિફરન્ટ ચેનલમાં ડિવાઈડ થાય. અને સેમ વે જે રિસીવિંગ નો જે આપણો બેન્ડ છે that is also divided by 832 different channels. Okay, so it is said that from this sending and receiving, okay, the total 42 channels are used for the control. The 42 channels are used for control, which means that 832 માંથી 42 નીકળી જાય so only 790 channels are available for cell phone users. Okay, so that means at that time 790 different users can communicate with each other. Okay, આપણને સપોઝ કોઈ કંપની છે કે જીઓ છે કે એરટેલ છે, ઓકે, સપોઝ એને જે બેન્ડ એસાઇન થયો છે, ઓકે, કોઈ પણ જે મોબાઈલની કંપની હોય એને ગવર્મેન્ટ દ્વારા અમુક બેન્ડ એસાઇન થાય. ઓકે, સો સપોઝ એરટેલને જે આ બેન્ડ એસાઇન થયો છે તો 824 to 849 તે બેન્ડ સેન્ડિંગ માટે છે અને 869 to 894 વાળો રિસીવિંગ માટે છે. એમાંથી સપોઝ પર યુઝર રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ ઇઝ 30 કિલોહર્ટ્ઝ. So the answer is at a time 790 channels are available for cell phone users. That means at a time 790 different users can communicate with each other. Okay? Cell phone માં આપણે એક જ ટાઈમે 790 users can communicate with each other. Okay, this is all about the FDM, that is the frequency division multiplexing, okay, in which your channel is divided or your link is divided into the various channels and each channel has its own frequency range. The second concept is wavelength division multiplexing, that is also used for the analog signal. Okay, so before that, can anyone give me the application of FDM? FDM ની કોઈ real time application in which આપણે કોઈ પણ વસ્તુ રિસીવ કરવી હોય તો પહેલા એની ફ્રીક્વન્સી સેટ કરવા પડે. એવી કોઈ એપ્લિકેશન તમે આપી શકે? એનીવન?
રેડિયો.
હા, રેડિયો. Okay, good, very good. Okay, so this radio transmission can be application of this FDM, frequency division multiplexing. Okay, so જ્યારે આપણે સપોઝ સુરત FM ને સાંભળવું હોય તો સુરત FM ની જે ફ્રીક્વન્સી છે તે આપણે સેટ કરવા પડે. ઓકે, સો ધી થિંક ઇઝ ઘણીવાર આપણને મલ્ટીપ્લેક્સિંગ જોઈએ અને ઘણીવાર નહીં હોય તો પણ ચાલે. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ જ્યારે આપણે રેડિયો સાંભળતા હોય at that time we don't require the multiplexing and demultiplexing. The reason is it is pre-decided કે સપોઝ સુરત FM છે તો એને આ જ ફ્રીક્વન્સી યુઝ કરવાની. ઓકે, સપોઝ કોઈ બીજું રેડિયો સ્ટેશન છે, ઓકે, રેડિયો મિર્ચી છે તો એને પછી આ જ ફ્રીક્વન્સી યુઝ કરવાની. સપોઝ આવું પ્રી ડિસાઇડેડ હોય then we don't require the multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, but for example જ્યારે આપણે સેલ ફોનમાં કોમ્યુનિકેશન કરતા હોય, ઓકે, so at that time there is no specific frequency allocation for each and every user. ટેલિફોન લાઈન પર સપોઝ ટેલિફોન લાઈન પર આપણે કઈ કોમ્યુનિકેશન કરતા હોય ત્યારે આપણે we can't assign the specific frequency to each and every users. Okay, બધા યુઝરને આપણે specific frequency assign ના કરી શકીએ. Okay, so at that time what happen, we require is multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, what happen in that case કે જે ટાઈમે આપણો ફોન કનેક્ટ થાય તો તે ટાઈમે આપણી ફ્રીક્વન્સી આપણને અસાઇન થાય અને if multiple users are using that same frequency then we require this multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, so at the receiving side we can separate that આમાંથી કયા બે યુઝર એકબીજા સાથે વાત કરતા છે. Okay, so this can be the example of this FDM, okay, frequency division multiplexing. So this radio communication or we can say this telephone communication, they are using the FDM, that is the frequency division multiplexing. Second one is the wavelength division multiplexing. So somehow it is same as the FDM and it is also used for the analog signal, but the extra thing is WDM is majorly used for the high frequency channels. Okay, so the very common example of this thing is the fiber optic cables. જ્યારે આપણે fiber optic cable માંથી data transmit કરીએ so at that time can anyone say that fiber optic cable માં data કયા ફોર્મમાં ટ્રાન્સમિટ થાય? Is it in the form of current or કયા ફોર્મમાં ટ્રાન્સમિટ થાય? light na form ma. Okay, so these lights are nothing but it is a high frequency signal, very high frequency signals. Okay, so when you are following this fiber optic transmission, then we are using the WDM, that is the wavelength division multiplexing. So in which also we are using the concept of multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, but here we are not using the modulator and demodulator, but you have seen that there is one device, that are used to combine the multiple lights. Okay, ઘણી બધી લાઇટ ને combine કરે. ઓકે, એવું એક ફિઝિક્સમાં તમે એક ડિવાઇસ ભણેલા. ઓકે, તો જે ઘણી બધી લાઇટ ને કમ્બાઈન કરે અને પછી એ લાઇટ ને આપણે છૂટી પણ પાડી શકીએ. So can anyone say what is the name of that device? એ ડિવાઇસ પર લાઇટ પડે તો પછી એ કમ્બાઈન પણ થાય અને છૂટી પણ પાડી શકીએ આપણે. અમુક એંગલે પાડે તો પછી કમ્બાઈન થાય. Prism. Okay, so good, very good. Okay, so in case of the WDM we are using this prism, okay, for this multiplexing and demultiplexing. Okay, so in the optical fiber we are using the concept of this prism to perform the multiplexing and demultiplexing. So the idea is same, that we are combining the multiple high frequency signals, so that multiple high frequency signals are composite and sent to the receiver. At the receiving side, again we have the prism that can separate out the various high frequency signals. So WDM is an analog multiplexing technique to combine the optical signals. So we know the idea of the prism, that at the sending side we have the multiplexer, that is the prism, and the demultiplexer is also a prism. So at the sending side, the prism can combine the various high frequency signals. At the receiving side, this demultiplexer can separate out the various signals into the various channels. So we are not going through the physics of this, how this prisms are works. So you just need to remember that we can use the prism in case of the wavelength division, multiplexing and demultiplexing, to combine the various high frequency signals. And at the receiving side also we can use the prism to separate out the various high frequency signals. Okay, third multiplexing technique is time division multiplexing, that is the TDM. So it is the very important technique that are used in the real time communication. That is the FDM માં શું કર્યું આપણે? Based on the frequency we have divided the channel. In the FDM and WDM also. Okay, બંનેમાં આપણે based on the frequency we have divided the channel. Whereas the TDM, the name suggests time division multiplexing. Based on the time we are now dividing the channel. Okay, the advantage of this TDM is we can increase the data rate. Okay, suppose આપણો sending નો data rate આપણો 1 kbps નો છે. At the receiving side we can increase the data rate, that is dependent on the number of the users that are sending the data. Okay, we will see that example, that if the 1 kbps the the input data rate is there, then we can increase the data rate of 3 kbps if the 3 channels are combined. So instead of setting a portion of the bandwidth as in FDM, we are setting the time. So you can see here that in case of the TDM, your link is divided based on this timing slots. Okay, so here the first user has the 4 slot, that is 1 2 3 4. Okay, the second user has also allocated the 4. Okay, not like that. Okay, your link is divided into various time slot. Okay, એમાંથી પહેલો slot પહેલા user ને આપે, બીજો બીજાને આપે, ત્રીજો ત્રીજાને આપે, ચોથો ચોથાને આપે. Okay, ફરી પાછું થોડા ટાઈમ પછી ફરી પાછું beginning થી start કરે, 1 2 3 4. Okay, like that, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this is known as the TDM, time division multiplexing. Okay, we will see one example, then your idea will be clear. So TDM is a digital multiplexing technique for combining the several low rate channels into the one high rate one. Okay, so TDM no advantage है कि we can combine the several low rate channel and we can create a channel with one high rate. So there are two types of TDM, that is synchronous and statistical. First we will see the synchronous TDM. So here we have the multiplexer. Okay. So there are 3 different channels that are need to combine. Okay. So we can say that we have the 3 different channels and that are combining into the one signal channels, one single output channel. So here the 3 input channel, that the input channels are divided into various time slot. So this time slot can be anything. That unit can be anything. It can be the 1 second, 1 millisecond, 1 microsecond. Okay. So this input link is divided into various time slot. So જ્યાં એક time slot છે એનો duration અલગ આવી શકે. It can be 1 second, it can be 1 millisecond, it can be 1 microsecond. Okay. So here your channel is divided into the 3 units or 3 slot. Okay. And each unit has the we can say the time duration is t second. Okay. We can say that t second. So t second, t second, t second. Okay. So suppose channel A is divided into 3 time slot, A1, A2, A3. A1 has t second, A2 has t second, A3 has t second. Same way B has B1, B2, B3. B1 na પર t second, B2 na પર t second, B3 na પર t second. C has C1, C2, C3 and 3 na t second. Okay. Now at the receiving side, what is going to be happen, that we are creating the frame. At the receiving side, we are creating the frame. And okay, I think timing is complete. Okay, we'll see this thing in the next lecture, that is the TDM